So we all know that Norway is doing really well financially, but just how rich is it? Oil money, insane public services, and probably a secret vault filled with gold and brown cheese? As someone living in Norway, I personally have not found the bag yet, but maybe this video will tell us where they're hiding it. As a little bit of context, I'm an American. I've been living in Norway for about 4 years now, and I love talking about it. I love learning about it, obviously. All right, let's just dive in.
How rich is Norway? Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers, and welcome back for another exciting original.
Hey, that's Geirangerfjord. Am I right? Geirangerfjord? If it is, I've been there.
Video brought to you by our team here at alux.com. Norway is a fascinating country for many reasons. It's freezing cold, they have some of the highest tax rates in the world, and the cost of living is also sky high. Yet Norway has been consistently recognized as one of the best places to live for many years. What's their secret? Well, the wealth of the nation plays no small part in the happiness of its people, and today we're going to explore just how rich Norway really is. But first, let's cover the basics. Background. The Kingdom of Norway is located in northwestern Europe and is bordered by Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Norway has 63,000 miles of coastline, which is the second most in the world behind Canada.
Yeah, it's basically all coastline. That's why.
Norway is a constitutional monarchy that functions as a highly developed democracy. Harald V of the House of Glücksburg has been king since 1991. The Kingdom of Norway was formed in 872 and has existed continuously for over 1,145 years.
Is he still the king? So I think this video is kind of old, so let's just look it up. Who is the king of Norway? Yeah, it's him since 1991.
Norway opted out of the European Union as a result of a referendum in November 1994. However, they still take part in the EU's single market, and they significantly contribute to the budget of the European Union. Norway is consistently among the top-ranked happiest places to live in the world, along with Denmark and Finland. In 2017, it claimed the very top spot on the list, which is published by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, based on surveys conducted in 132 countries around the world.
I would agree with it. I would say Norway is the best place to live. I am a little bit biased, though.
Norway ranks particularly high in the categories of freedom, generosity, honesty, health, caring, income, and good governance. They also have a strong economy, which is what we're taking a closer look at next. Norway's economy. Norway's economy is based on the Nordic model, which is also embraced by Finland, Sweden, and Denmark. This economic model puts an emphasis on social equality with a comprehensive welfare system, a high rate of unionization, and strong collective bargaining policies within workplaces, meaning that employees have a significant say in salaries, working conditions, and benefits. Norway stands out among the Nordic countries because the state has a stake in a large number of...
That's so cool. Just that view. Off topic, but with the opera house there, and then the cruise ship in the back. That's cool.
Of the country's biggest publicly listed companies, owning a total of 37% of the Oslo stock market. The state also owns and operates some of the largest non-listed companies, including the petroleum company Equinor and the hydropower company Statkraft. Norway is blessed with numerous natural resources, including oil and gas, fish, minerals, and forests. They're the second largest exporter of seafood behind China, and they're also one of the leading petroleum exporters worldwide. Their overall economy...
Isn't it true that, like, Norway brought salmon to Japan? Or they, like, normalized salmon sushi in Japan? Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Okay. How Norway contributed to Japan's most popular sushi. I'll put this website in the description if you want to read it. But it says, sushi is something that is thought of as being exclusively Japanese. This is no surprise. It has been one of their main sources of food for over 100 years. What might surprise you is the fact that one of the most popular forms of sushi served in Japan nowadays was actually not created in Japan at all. A visit to Tokyo in 1985 by Norwegian Fisheries Minister Thor Listau allowed him to see a Japanese market that was in need of a new source of fish. This led him to start a government initiative known as Project Japan. The goal of this campaign was to promote Norwegian fish in Japan to increase the amount and the price of the fish that they shipped overseas. So interesting. But yeah, it's like salmon and that whole thing. Fish is huge here, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
Economy has experienced modest positive growth from 2010 through 2019 and is expected to continue this trend in the years to come. The Nordic model gives plenty of opportunities for economic success to all of its citizens, but some definitely end up benefiting more than others. Individual wealth. Norway comes in at number 25 on
Okay, I'm going to make a little guess. The individual wealth thing, especially with the wealth fund that Norway has, that like insanely rich fund they have because they invest in every single company ever, basically. I think if they were to give some of that, or if they were to distribute that between all of their citizens, then each Norwegian would have like $300,000 or something each. That's crazy. Do you realize how crazy that is? $300,000 each, because your country has this like insane amount of wealth. That's what I'm going to guess. That is what they're going to say. $300,000 each to each citizen.
Forbes' list of the countries with the most billionaires. Out of the 5.3 million people that live in the country, there are 15 billionaires. The richest person that lives in Norway is Odd Reitan, with a net worth of $6.1 billion. He's a self-made billionaire who owns one of the largest chains of grocery stores in Norway. As of 2019...
What's the chain? What was his name? Net worth $5.9 billion USD as of today. Rema 1000, is that what it is? That's what I was thinking. Opened the first Rema 1000 store in 1979 in Trondheim. Yeah, Rema 1000 is a huge grocery store here, so that's crazy.
One of the largest chains of grocery stores in Norway. As of 2019, there are approximately 46.8 million millionaires in the world. About 163,000 of these millionaires live in Norway. That's about 1 in every 287 people. But beyond the millionaires and billionaires, Norway is the only major Western economy where younger generations are increasing their wealth, with millennials seeing a 13% increase in disposable income in 2018. In just about every other major Western economy, millennials are not doing as well financially as the generations that came before them. The average monthly salary is around $8,000 US, although salaries, of course, vary.
I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know. That seems very high. I don't know. That seems high to me.
Significantly from job to job, and a large percentage of salaries go to taxes, which brings us to our next topic. Taxes and the welfare state. The term welfare state may create a negative perception of a lazy workforce and free handouts from the government, but this is not the case for Norway. Their welfare system maximizes labor force participation, supports gender equality, and promotes income redistribution. It also encourages innovation by providing a social safety net for those who start businesses. There's also a 25% value-added tax for most goods and services. These factors combined give Norway one of the highest.
There's also taxes on alcohol, there's taxes on sugar, like candy has a really high tax on it, and same with like wine and beer and stuff, of course. So they add some taxes in here and there, but I mean, you get good benefits from it, so it evens out in my opinion.
Cost of living rates worldwide. In fact, it's the 4th most expensive country to live in behind the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and Switzerland. However, most Norwegians will tell you that these taxes feel more like an investment than a burden. In return for paying high taxes, Norwegians receive free healthcare, free education up to and including university tuition, subsidized childcare, extended parental leave paid at 80% of the normal salary.
I just did a video where I talked about a lot of this stuff, but yeah, it's crazy. And when I moved here, I don't think I quite understood the extent of like just how helpful that stuff is, how helpful it is to have subsidized daycare, how helpful it is to have free healthcare. Coming from America, obviously, it is a big culture shock, really. But like in a good positive way. Listening to some of my friends from back home who have kids that say like that they're paying hundreds of dollars in child services for the week because both parents have to work, right? So they are paying hundreds of dollars a week for childcare, where here I think we're paying like $200 or something a month for childcare. So it's a big, big difference, and it makes a big, big difference in your people and your people's mindset and what's important to them if those are things that they no longer have to worry about. If they don't have to worry about getting hurt and how they're going to pay for it. They don't have to worry about how am I supposed to send my kid to childcare, daycare, or how am I supposed to work, but I also have to pay for childcare. But if I don't work, we don't have enough money, but we don't have to pay for childcare. Like, there's a lot of these worries that come with things like that just aren't existent here. So it allows your people to think about other things, to have that weight off of them, then they're going to do more things like going out with their family, investing back into the economy. They're going to be trying to start their own businesses. They're going to be doing those things because there's stuff that they don't have to worry about anymore. It's very interesting to dive into that mindset shift.
Paid sick and personal leave, substantial unemployment insurance, and retirement benefits. But if Norway is paying out all of these benefits, how much money is left over? For that, let's get to the question of the hour. How rich is Norway? In order to understand just how wealthy Norway is, let's start with the gross national product. Norway's nominal GDP in 2018 was just over $434 billion.
Okay, I would like to know the GDP of the US, so I have a bit of a comparison. 27.72 trillion USD. I'm going to look up what GDP means. Gross domestic product is a monetary measure of the total market value of all the final goods and services produced and rendered in a specific time period by a country or countries. GDP is often used to measure the economic performance of a country or region. And this came out, I think, like 5 years ago. So let's see the Norwegian one now. 485.3 billion USD. So it's gone up a little bit.
The figure that is better used to measure Norway's economy is the per capita GDP, which in 2018 was $81,695. This is the fourth highest per capita GDP in the world.
Okay, so GDP per capita is calculated by dividing the GDP of a nation by its population. So this is how much per person Norway has in GDP.
Behind Luxembourg, Switzerland, and Macau. What's more, Norway, Luxembourg, and Switzerland are the only three countries worldwide that have a per capita GDP above $70,000 that are not listed as island nations or microstates. However, a better indication of Norway's wealth is the money that they have on hand. Norway has the world's biggest sovereign wealth fund, the Government Pension Fund of Norway, totaling over $1 trillion.
This is what I was talking about earlier with if you gave some of it to, or if you distribute it between the people, it'd be like $300,000 per person or something.
The money in this fund, which was established in 1990, comes from investments made with the country's oil revenues. The fund itself is 2.7 times bigger than the entire Norwegian economy and contains enough money to hand each citizen over $180,000. The fund has increased due to strategic investments in shares, property, and bonds in 77 different countries.
That's so crazy. It's so wild to me, coming from the US where we're in so much debt, to think about a country that has just this abundance of wealth and that they've just thought ahead so well to be able to acquire that wealth and have it. It's just, it's mind-blowing.
This investment fund actually has a stake in nearly 9,000 companies in these countries. Its biggest equity holdings include Microsoft, Alphabet Inc., Nestle, Apple, Amazon, and Royal Dutch Shell, which certainly helps explain its massive success.
I remember going through the list of companies that this fund is invested in and just being amazed at the variety. And so Norway has their toes in Apple, Microsoft, Google, like all of these crazy things that you just wouldn't even think about Norway investing in. It's super, super interesting. I'll also link that down below because it is fun to just like go through and see.
Of 37% of their investments are made in U.S. companies. What's more, Norway refrains from investing in companies that produce landmines, tobacco, and nuclear weapons, and in 2019, it was announced they would no longer invest in oil and gas stocks. The fund is managed by Norges Bank Investment Management on behalf of the Ministry of Finance, but the fund is officially owned by the Norwegian people. It was put in place primarily to put Norway in a good financial position, so it didn't rely on oil revenues that would eventually dry up. Norway...
That's so smart to have thought that, okay, eventually all of this oil is going to run up. How are we going to make sure that we are still a rich, functioning country and we don't go back to before we found this oil and everyone was poor, right? It's so interesting to me that a country can just like think ahead like that. It's like things like that remind me that, oh, your governments and your countries can do better. They can do better for you.
Officially has a little over $157 billion in public debt, but they're in a net asset position, meaning the total financial assets of the government exceed the total debt. Essentially, they borrow money at low rates and then reinvest. Conclusion. Norway has secured its position as one of the richest countries in the world thanks in part to its high tax rates, strong economic model, and bountiful natural resources. However, the main factor in its wealth accumulation has been the strategic investment of oil revenues, which is providing economic security for many years to come, even after all the oil is depleted. Norway is indeed one of the happiest places to live on Earth because the government invests in its people and ensures the taxes, high as they may be, benefit each citizen to the highest extent. Because of all of these factors, Norway will likely maintain its status as a wealthy nation for the foreseeable future.
Oh, there's a question at the end. What is that?
Question. Now, as we wrap this up, we're curious. Would you mind paying much higher taxes if you received the same benefits as the Norwegians? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to know what you guys think as well, because I very much would be okay with that. Very much am okay with that. Is Norway using its wealth in the right way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you're Norwegian or American, or what do you think? I want to know what Americans think about this. Are Americans willing to pay these high taxes? What do you think of Norwegians paying these high taxes and the benefits that they get? Please, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. A little bit of a reminder, I found out that 99% of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed. Come on, subscribe. Help a girl out. If you like these videos, if you enjoy what I do, then come along with me on this journey. If anything interesting happens in Norway, we will be the first to find out, right? I also have channel members now, so you guys can join my channel and we can have exclusive chats, exclusive lives, really, really fun stuff. And I want to get to know y'all better. Seriously, I think it would be so cool to be able to just like chat with you. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.